All right, all right. Greetings, everyone. Heil to you, our brothers and sisters, heart to heart. And we greet you from under the Mary Lana, the marijuana tree. And we are wishing you balance. Balance is happiness. Little warriors. We are never the victims. Why, class? Why are we technically never, no matter what the event circumstances, it's a technical thing. We're never the victims because this is an illusion. It's not real. This is the Matrix. And we are projecting to you that the warrior is warrior S is the one who fights evil forever, fights against the energy that will always be here. This is how we view things back on Venus. The people who created the holographic matrix gave us a chance to really appreciate how much life sucked in a physical way, and we're the no doubt one of the first things, Maria, one of the first lessons she taught me was, I've said before how she said, listen, I'm a woman. I'm a person just like you. Let's keep everything in balance. I do something for you, you do something for me. Mm, And she was pointing out to me that it was going to take a hella of a lot to return to get out of here. You might say, to get out of here, right? Today is 8/18, August 18th. And I was saying that the masters of the Matrix, and when we come here, okay, let me try to tie these ideas I've thrown out there to you. Why fight evil? Why not just go on with your life? Things are locked away here in a sort of prison. We don't ever hear of any reports of force or fraud on Venus. Um, the let me put it this way: you're raised on Venus to give thanks and to appreciate the matrix and the domed cities that we live in. You are brought up raised to be thankful to the men and women who created it, the creators, the source of the Matrix and the Dome City. Okay? This is why we continue to fight these people. This is well, how good, how well they do at what they do, how good they are at what we would call evil manipulation, evil magic, black magic. The belief in God is, in its present form, is something new since World War II. At World War II, in World War One, everything you see is, the murder of the Archduke was all just like you see today, all a cover. They keep saying Iran can't have a nuclear weapon is a cover for what they're really doing. Fact is, Iran never tried to have a nuclear weapon. Their supreme leader said Allah didn't want them to have it. Allah did not want them atomizing. Remember that word? And what's that mean? It means being basically, instead of individuated, it means erasing your personality. It means breaking you apart in so many pieces that you'll never put it back together. Atomizing. Maria said, as they atomize, we become one. Because for us, it's about being together. Right? I mean, in the younger people, and Maria said you see this in authors like Velikowski, the Irish dude, I think he was, writing about Atlantis and all of this revival of what some people would call paganism. Really, it's traditional European spirituality in general. The discovery of the Sumerian clay tablets for Maria's generation in the 1900s and teens, in the beginning of the 20th century into the 19 teens, literally worldwide sweeping of the younger people. It'd be like TikTok today. Or I don't even, because I'm so old, I don't even know what young people are doing right now. But it'd be that thing that it just swept over the earth that, of course, what was wrong with our parents was they were afraid of this God, lived for this God, and this God, who is it? Is it El? Is it Adonai? Is it Yahweh? Is it Shaddai, El Shaddai, or is it the other L's? There's a bunch of L's. El has all kinds of sons. And literally, in a basic way, swept up, and this is why they dismiss shit as like the Roaring 20s. Oh, they just wanted to party. They literally brainwashed us that the young people of World War One just wanted to party. I saw that That's all it was about. Had nothing to do with freeing themselves of the Judeo-Christian, Judeo, Jew, they go, Christian mind control. For everyone that wants to, try to incorporate the Bible some way and Jesus and Mary and shit, the Bible is mind control. No one is writing or saying the Nordic myths are mind control, or even the Dark Tower is mind control. If you can't see the difference, it's like it's a laborious thing, to keep pointing out like there's something fucked up with this whole thing. This whole thing, God killed his son. The whole thing starts with, "Will you kill your son for me?" I mean, come on. So you see, we have set the stage. Miguel Serrano in America, way behind 10 in the Americas, South America, Chile, far behind the actual vibration of Magic Europe. I don't think anyone really realizes the places of Vienna, Habsburg, Berlin, Horn, Germany, where the Externstein is. These are completely irreplaceable ley line energies of ancient. They're as powerful as any other place on earth, as powerful. But for white people, they're a million times more powerful. Over here in America, land of the white giants, is still, that's so far back. The stories are the stories of the Native American Indians in our soil and our minerals. I think Maria wants you to know these cities in their literal geographical, historic imprinting, vibrational energy lives today, even though it's been so trampled, and know for sure it's been transferred to your blood memory. Okay? We're going to keep reading our quote every night. In this world, there is not a greater pleasure than returning back to life after being torn to fucking pieces. Miguel Serrano. Okay, and we're just going vibe by vibe here. We're going to read some excerpts from the book. I know it's backwards. Manu, the For the Man to Come. This is the third book that Maria, from her astral Vril inner earth, communicated and helped and inspired Miguel Serrano to write. This is the final book. Okay. But Hitler did not ultimately go away in a submarine, but in a UFO, in a Vimana, as the Hindus would say. Thus, he is like the strange name, Operation Barbarossa, that he gave for the campaign in Russia, which reveals its true meaning when we understand that this did not refer to that campaign, but to what would come after 1945. What would succeed this external war, the hiding within a mountain of the South Pole, deep underground. The dream of Barbarossa within the Alps, within the primordial ice, in a cavern in the maternal bosom, during the twilight of the gods, to awaken and rescue on the threshold of events. In Adolf Hitler, the ultimate avatar, and in National Socialism, only solution for the South American people, my books, I reproduce the design and description of a UFO, flying saucer built by the Third Reich, from a military photograph in internal circulation within the Federal German Army of today. I also read with this within the Swiss Army and was given to understand the same during my stay in that country. A genius like Hitler knew perfectly well the class of enemy he confronted. Should I say that again? A genius like Hitler knew perfectly well the class of enemy he confronted. It is enough to read Mein Kampf to understand this. Hitler states the Jew is not human. Like Führer, like Avatar, is not human. Do you hear this? Hitler stated, like the Führer, like the Avatar. And I think he knew as well who is in truth behind the Jew. It is the demiurge. Therefore, he would not just use the conventional weapons of this war against him. He would not even use the atomic bomb because they could not reach him. He had to rediscover another science, another technology, other means to, in some way, preserve the Aryan race, the Asir gods, keeping open in another place the possibility of the transmutation of the hero. You hear this? The Vira, the Sonnenmensch, the Sun Man, the total man, the absolute man, resurrecting him with his glorious body of immortal red Vajra. One, he said, must go away in a chariot of fire, a UFO. And we're just skimming around, abandoning the plane of the spirit of eternity This is where your true self is. The spirit of eternity. Wow. Abandoning the plane of the spirit of eternity. The gods go out from the pre-cosmic egg. Okay, let's get at it. Where's the true self? In the spirit of eternity. And it goes out from the pre-cosmic egg and reach the state of corrupt matter. It does. We call it the matrix. In the camp of the enemy. Also building his cities, his barracks, his castles with the same matter, energy too, and time he builds with. And they find there in the vast expanse of stars, building his castle in the houses of the zodiac. Hence the Asgard of Leo. Leo will be different from that of Aries and Pisces. And celestial Hyperborea different from the polar Hyperborea on Gerda. Even though the model, the prototype of the city of Asgard, Agartha, Shambhala, the city of the Caesars, is always built on nostalgia, and the memory of the ancestral dwellings in the green thunderbolt. The consistency of the metamorphic shaping of the city, just like the body of the divyas, and the matter that makes up the chariot of fire or vehicle of the gods, will correspond to the substance and vibration of the energy of the world that they go through. This is exactly what the Missouri River Goddess was telling me about being on a UFO. She was like, if you can understand this, I'm on another planet. I was the UFO. I did it all with my imagination, Joseph. Right? The consistency of the metamorphic shaping of the city, just like the body of the hero, the gods, and the matter that makes up the UFO, the vehicle of the gods, will correspond to the substance and vibration of the energy of the world they go through, thereby becoming visible for an instant in the organ of perception in the mind of the beings that inhabit it. Your imagination is the organ of perception. Your imagination. Just keep saying it to yourself, it will become real. My imagination is a organ of perception. So we understand the statement that the flying saucers, the UFOs, are angels. Are angels. They enter, are seen for an instant, and then disappear. They have integrated, but they must depart fast before they crystallize and lose the ability to disintegrate. In this, the power of Odilrune, Havarino, the science of implosion, the ability to return to the center that is nowhere, because the true self is in the plane of existence called the spirit of eternity. The mystery of Odinic incarnation is not fundamentally distinct from the incarnation of esoteric K Christianity, the Eucharistic mystery of the Mass, or Messe, which means sowing. The grains are scattered over the land of the demiurge. One grain of wheat is exactly like another in its essence, and the ears are the same as the grain. You get it? And the armies spread out in a predetermined plan of attack by the warriors of Asgard, by their commander in chief, the Lord of Hosts, Wotan, the poet, the author. His war is lightning, blitzkrieg, as with the Führer, won or lost like the lightning bolt, because Wotan is also the wind, the hurricane, and his horse Sleipnir, eight-legged, gallops with only 4 legs in this world, and the other 4 on the plane called the Spirit of Eternity. Yeah, that's right. Horses are eternal too. When the UFO comes down, here they lay open their doors, and the warriors come out like a hurricane. Each one of those in here is equal to Wotan himself, because he's the author. Is he, even though he is also called Balder, Thor, Siegfried, Tristan, Parzival, author's intent. Each one will live in archetypal history that only transubstantiates in Wotan, Big Lou. And he is like the Eucharistic host. He is round like the Vaimana, like the UFO, like the warrior chariot of fire of the Lord of Hosts, radiant light, and when dividing in each of its parts, containing the whole teacher God. Yes. This is excerpts from Manu. The she who descended to earth was taken prisoner by the demiurge. Although only a small portion of the she cannot be whole in a single body. Wow. Nor the archetypal form of earthly woman, except in many bodies at the same time. It's crazy, but I understand that. Let me pause right there. This is so Maria. Wait, he just described Maria. She literally started to explain this to me one day. My wife's mother, her name is Kathy. It was always like her and my wife were kind of one. So no matter how well I knew her or not, the more I knew my wife, the more I knew her. You know what I mean? And she was very beautiful, but it wasn't like I was close to her. There was no reason for me really to think this. But Maria, she told me, you are living in technology in the Matrix. And I'm going to prove it to you this week. This was in September of 2011. She said, this week, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to give you a dream, and you'll know it's me. Okay. And wow, what a dream it was. I was super impressed. One of the main things of the dream, it was a long dream. I still can see it in my mind right now, but one of the main things, my mother-in-law, Kathy, lives like 3 houses away from me. Her house is on the bluffs overlooking the Missouri River. It's very beautiful. And, I in the dream, I was running down, towards her house. I ran into the backyard, and my mother-in-law, at the time had longer dyed red hair. I think her hair normally is kind of brown, blondish, reddish brown. Hold on, we'll be right back. So in the dream, I am running towards her house because I'm chasing someone that broke in my house in a dream. And he runs right right on the side of my mother-in-law's house. And when I follow him, I start to, it's like goes down a hill behind her house, and I hear a voice like, Joe, Joe, Joe. And the voice was so familiar. I had only seen her like 3 or 4 times. It was so crazy familiar, like your mom, like she had been telling me, I'm your real mother. Um, and so it was like about 100 feet away or something. And I look over and I see this little, beautiful, tiny little woman in a white dress and, yeah, like a long white dress and really long red hair, exactly this dyed red hair, the exact same color as my mother-in-law. And but I knew it was the Missouri River goddess. And so when I'm looking at her, the river's in the background, and she's smiling, going, I am the river. I'm the river. I'm the river. And I ran over and I couldn't help it, but I was like, the first thing I said is your hair. And she was like, jokingly, what? A goddess can't dye her hair? And she's like, who makes these rules? I said, I don't know. And who? She said, she looked up at my mother in law's bedroom, behind her house. She looked up at the bedroom and she said, I am her. And she had said to me, the first ritual, the reason I found Mindy, the reason I found Joey, the prearranged magic marriage was because she said to me, I am Joey. I am Mindy. And she was waiting for me if I was going to, believe what I believed about it. I didn't know what to say to her. I didn't know really what she meant. And a lot of people could misinterpret it. I just kind of was smart enough to just not really interpret it at all and just be like, I don't know really what. So this is the third person. Okay, I've known this Missouri River goddess for a month. This is the third person she has told me I am her. So I finally said, what do you mean you are her? And she said, look at me, look me in the eye. And I looked her in the eye and she said, there are many beautiful women. Millions of millions of millions of them. But the reason you're here And the reason you think she is beautiful and your wife is beautiful is because you see me in them, because, Joseph, I literally switch bodies with them at times. She said, in your language, you might say, they're very cool women. They're awesome women because they not only allow me to do that, this was based on an agreement before we came here. We all knew the plan. And I asked them, this is going to be important. When you get in the earth matrix, you're going to forget everything. But if we make this magic agreement that we can switch bodies on another plane so that we can make the story come true. I went, right, right, right. And she looked at me and she said, Joseph, do not feel bad about anything. Rejoice in it all. Rejoice in their beauty. You are seeing me. All right, so I want you, and I had another crazy beginning to a ritual where I was just completely shown how Aleister Crowley, the money marketing, you might call it a bit Jewish since they own almost all of it, Hollywood, commercial, repetitive message suggesting to your brain what is beautiful, has so destroyed women. This is what Maria was very concerned about. If you want to know, ladies, she's very concerned about you letting a evil religion basically tell you what's beautiful. You decide what's beautiful. And I started switching bodies with woman after woman after woman. It was like Mindy, um, women I grew up with, girls I grew up with, my girlfriend Tammy, my aunt, my aunt, my just a whole bunch. And all of a sudden I was with Maria and she was like, these are all women again. You've seen me, because I was trying to help them. I was trying to help them because you put me in contact with them. I probably wouldn't have had time, Joseph. Right? So, a lot of what was happening to me, subconsciously, unconsciously, I was seeing Maria. Now, let me read this over when you and try to get the context I was talking about. The she who descended to earth was taken prisoner by the demiurge. Maria, who's sitting right here, says you can put Aleister Crowley there because he's over this system of oppressing women. Although only a small portion, okay? This is the whole thing. Like, you're not really risking anything coming here except kind of PTSD sort of thing you might have. Because only a small portion of the she, of the he, she, the two who became one, only a small portion of her, she cannot be whole in a single body because she's one with her man and he's one with her. So we're never quite comfortable here in the matrix because we're not together. Nor the archetypal form of earthly woman, except in many bodies at the same time. Do you hear that? The she, This is the goddess who descended to earth, right? She can't be in a single body, nor take the archetypal form of earthly woman, except in many bodies at the same time. And I interpret that, as what Maria was saying to me. I switch bodies with them. And that's how it's many bodies at the same time. It's not in the same moment. It's just in the same life, in the same, you know, time frame. Therefore, he, capital H, he, the hero seeks her. You hear this? He sees her, the goddess, in every woman without pacification or completion, except in an act of renunciation or interiorizing of her. Do you hear that? Therefore, he seeks her in every woman, interiorizing of she, right? He's unconsciously seeing the essence of something, of a person he can't remember, his true mother, his true teacher, even. In other words, in different words, in magic amor, in magic love, he seeks her. The imprisoned she of the demiurge becomes animalized in Eve, leading to animal love, which means love that incorporates food, clothes, and shelter. You can't help it, you automatically do it. And the procreation of children, sons of the flesh. So she unites in demiurgic love with the he. That's the small h, he, of the capital S and H, she, he. Both are prisoners at the same time of the demiurge, thus giving birth to the human animal on planet Earth, the mortals, as they're called, Papageno and Papagena, right? From the myths, Papageno and Papagena. The Asir have mixed with this animalized humanity, falling in love with the daughters of men, quote. Perhaps discovering there a spark of divinity from the origin of the capital H, he, she, still surviving through the long exodus and the catastrophe of separation and loss. Wow. Still surviving through the long exodus and the catastrophe of separation and loss. The product of this defeat, this cultural, racial sin, is the hero. The product of the loss of the mix is the hero, the Vera, the half god, the half man. But for he, she, only the sons of the masculine sex yang would be the quote semi-divine, not the daughters yin, yin, Aryan, since the feminine of He, she lacks ontological reality and is without immortality, as we have seen. Yes. In he, she, small h, she, small s, she, can only be immortal with the capital H, he. Right? This is how they replaced our religion with God. Only the capital He can make the lowercase she immortal. Only eternal true love is actually eternal. Similarly, but in reverse, this happens to she, he, right? This process. Still, the roads of the feminine and masculine eternity are opposite, but only in substance, but also in their form, right? And this is the same with she, going out in search of her lowercase he, set loose or escaped from the capitalized she, he, a woman, a seer. That means the eternal true love before you came to the matrix. No one finds that person and realizes it here in an illusion. It's not possible. They very rarely descend to earth, this woman, a seer. They very rarely go to the matrix. And they never ever mix with animal men like the men of the Asir may do, right? This is mother as the goddess mother, never mixing with animal men, only with her eternal true love. Myths and legends tell us of goddesses possessed by swans, raptured by bulls and centaurs, fabulous beings, forces, images, but very rarely by men. You hear this about the goddess? On distinct levels of the demiurgic universe, the Asir men may meet with Asir women, yeah, but only here on earth, with incarnation and mixture. It is possible to realize with she the magic amour. And it's possible to achieve the conscious individuation of self with a confirmed real I, immortalized by means of the renunciation of regular human love and having interiorized this earthly woman. This is only done when this being is torn between pleasure and pain, light and darkness, between God and an animal, product of the mixing through the love of the divine gods for the daughters of men. And the product is the hero. Divine women incarnate very seldom, meaning divine women do not normally plug in and come to the matrix. Do you hear this? Because they don't need this experience. Divine women incarnate very seldom on this earth. And if they do, then only for a brief time, uniting amour with death, like Aluin, like Beatrice. They are virgin Hyperborean priestesses of the religion of a magic amour. The Odinic cult. In general, they remain in Valhalla, outside or in the Vril inner earth, inspiring, like Maria did to Miguel Serrano for this very book I'm reading from. This priestess of Amor inspires from the inner earth. She is inspiring from there the heroes, fighting within their hearts, awaiting their reunion in the afterlife. Awaiting, and that's always what Maria has always said is it's okay if you die, I'll be waiting for you. Right? And let us end this. Well, let us go to here. So we're gonna read a little bit more of Summer 1945. Of all the graphic photos I have viewed in my research, the most horrific is not the smoldering bodies at Dresden after the firestorm, not the German women and children flattened by Soviet tanks on a snowy road in East Prussia. No, but that of the bodies of Dachau. No, not the bodies, not the emaciated concentration camp inmates who died not from deliberate policy of extermination, as we have been told for decades now by the victors, but those, not those who had succumbed in the late stages of the war to typhus, diphtheria, dysentery, starvation, and neglect. No, no, the bodies that I speak of were German bodies, German soldiers. The photo is graphic, not merely for the obvious. The photo is hideous more for what is not actually seen than what is. There is a crushing, paralyzing oppression in the gray tones of the image. There is an overwhelming sense of evil in the very air. There is a terrifying embodiment of hate and malice in the forms of the Americans as they mechanically, with utter detachment, go about their inhuman business. Whew. As U.S. forces swept through Bavaria towards Munich in late April 1945, this is right when Maria left. And she said, I've always been sad that I did. Always. As U.S. forces swept through Bavaria toward Munich in late April 1945, most German guards at the concentration camp near Dachau wisely fled to maintain control and arrange for an orderly transfer of the 32,000 prisoners to the approaching Allies. And despite signs at the gate warning, no entrance, typhus epidemic, several hundred soldiers obeyed when they were ordered to the prison. Wow. When American units reached the camp the following day, the GIs were horrified by what they saw. Outside the prison were rail cars brim full with diseased and starved corpses. Inside the camp, wrote a witness, we found a room piled high with naked and emaciated corpses. Since all the many bodies were in various stages of decomposition, the stench of death was overpowering. Unhinged by the nightmares surrounding them, conditioned by years of vicious anti German propaganda, the troops turned their fury on the now disarmed German soldiers. While one group of over 300 were led away to a walled enclosure, other Germans were murdered in the guard towers, in the barracks, or they were chased through the streets. All were soon caught, and many deliberately wounded in the legs, then turned over to the camp inmates who first tortured, then tore limb from limb helpless men and boys. Quote, German guard came running towards us. We grabbed him and were standing there talking to him when a GI came up with a Tommy gun. He grabbed the prisoner, whirled him around, and said, There you are, you son of a bitch. The man was only about 3 feet from us, but the soldier cut him down with his submachine gun. I shouted at him, What did you do that for? He was a prisoner. He looked at me and screamed, Gotta kill him, gotta kill him, gotta kill. Whew. When I saw the look in his eyes and the machine gun waving in the air, I said to my men, Just let him go. While the tortures and murders were in progress, 350 German soldiers were lined up against the wall. 2 machine guns were planted. Then the Americans opened fire. Those yet alive when the fusillade ended, including the 3 young men still standing, were forced to wait amid the bloody carnage while the machine gun was reloaded, if you remember from last night. Although cold-blooded and deliberate, the murder of disarmed and helpless German soldiers by the Americans was nothing new. It was a ruthless policy that stretched from the beaches of Normandy all the way through France, Belgium, and into Germany. Dachau was only one of thousands of deliberate massacres that had taken place throughout the defeated Reich, on land, on sea, and from the air. During the last year of war, if there was any significance at all to the Dachau slaughter, it was that the war, for all intents and purposes, was finally over. As far as any strategic value to the Allied war effort, there was none at Dachau, nor was there any strategic value to the countless massacres that occurred during the deliberate firebombing of German cities where hundreds of thousands of women and children were burned alive. Nor was there any strategic value to the sinking of numerous refugee ships on the Baltic, filled mostly with the very old, or with the very young. Absolutely terrible. Sinking refugee ships. They were, every single one of them, all of them, simply a harvest of hate. In 1933, after Adolf Hitler came to power, the World Jewish Congress declared economic warfare against Germany. Let me read that. I should probably read that 5 or 6 times. Everything in history, listen, when you're starving, listen to this. In 1933, does this sound fucking familiar? They tried to cancel the whole country of Germany. After 1933, after Adolf Hitler came to power, the World Jewish Congress declared economic warfare against Germany. Well aware of Hitler's plan to end all Jewish influence in Germany, economically, politically, culturally, influential Jews in Europe and America engaged in a vast anti German propaganda campaign. Sound familiar? And we love you. Have a great night, great day, and know that the Vril mother and I are with you, our people, because we're all about love without death. Okay, okay. All right, August 18th. From in the heart, deep in the heart of Santa Louis, our brother, our father Lou. Who, Lou. Who is Lou? He's the great author. He's the great songwriter. And coming to you with Mama right here with ya and over you with all the power of the fire, air, water, and minerals. Fire, air, water, and earth. We command the elements to open your ears and open your heart to the true self and the real plan. God had a plan for you, and God is your true self. Your true self had a plan for you. That God was made in the image of the true self for each person. That's why we say, what you see in God one day you'll realize is you. You're like, but I'm not all powerful. I know, neither is God. Well, why would you say that? Because my neighbor, my friend that I grew up with, is my friend, one of my brother's very best friends from the neighborhood. He, his daughter was born paraplegic, and he would have done. He will do anything. She's older now. Anything for her to walk. He would give his own life. He is Jesus. And this mean ass bitch of a God was like, no, no, no. Just believe in Jesus. She's got to stay in the chair her whole life. Where's this nigga ever do a miracle? Where does this nigga ever show his power? Nigga God, where you show your power? Nowhere, because it's not there. No one hears you praying. Right? And listen, you and I have to say along with the song that I will still be laughing. Doorways lead to other rooms. Always leaves you crying. Face down in the strangest tune. I didn't know you were dying. You rise and you fall, and we wait for it all. 'Cause I will still be laughing. No one hears you praying. But I found out one person will never betray you and does hear your prayers. You. You. And someone might be like, hold it. If what you say is real, then why isn't it obvious to everyone? Because it's you, and it's up to you to make it obvious to you. Like I heard someone say today, if Jesus had, if Jesus was smart at all, he would have resurrected the Caesar. He would have resurrected the Pilate. He would have he wouldn't have just made sure that it was only fictitious people from Scooby Doo. They're solving a mystery. The empty tomb. Yeah, he resurrected. Yeah, what an asshole. What an asshole that he can do that, but he won't help this girl get out of a chair. Oh, well, that's our free will. Well, fuck you then. Fuck you. If that's going to be your answer to everything, is because of the freedom choice, everything has to be as bad as possible. Really? That's how that, you know why? You know why you think like that? You're a dumb ass slave. You think like a slave. You got slave mentality. You're a prisoner, like Paul says. I'm a prisoner of Christ. That's right. I'm not a prisoner to anyone. He says also, I'm a slave to Christ. I'm not a slave to anyone. Matter of fact, nigga, I'm looking forward to the day where I don't have to wake up and go to work. And that was a joke because I am a slave. you know. And we're going to take this. I almost forgot, Maria. We're going to tell you what's going to happen. I've been telling you what's going to happen, but we're going to do it again. We're going to use some of this time after the readings for like a geopolitical analysis. Okay. On a real level, you have the Church of the Subgenius, and it makes sense when you understand they prophesied in the 1950s. We will lead the end of the world with a fake haired, makeup face, suit wearing clown that is the equivalent to a door to door salesman or a used car salesman. You tell me that's not Trump. Okay, they tell us he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire, but he is a fucking douchebag. He is just a dork. Look at his fucking playlist. He's one of these golfer guys with his pants up to his fucking chest. He fucking wears slacks to play sports. He's like, I'm going to be playing sports today, honey. Get my slacks out. And he puts them on and they go up to they go over his belly button up to his fucking chest. And as prophesied, the leader of the entire warrior military, computer dork drone operators of the United States military is led by this fraternity boy dork that's, got gray hair and is still trying to be like cool, trying to be the Hollywood hero. And he's taking algorithms, secret algorithms that are taken by the United States military. And he's like, hey, man, ask the thing what people think is cool. And they're like, testosterone, masculine, the manosphere, Rogan. I mean, what my point is, clearly, these are the altar boys of the church, not the high priest and the priest and the cardinal or whatever they say. These are actors. Hegseth's an actor. Trump's an actor. The, House and the whole, supposed Trump cult prophecy. This goes straight into this is their magic. You don't understand why people are not turning from Trump is because they know the magic that's behind them. That this is this, tragic comedy where this motherfucker's just going to keep going and keep going. And if it's not him, it will be Musk. Watch for Musk. Okay, here's some of our predictions. Watch for Musk to emerge as a political figure pretty soon. He may not actually get elected, but he's going to the Jewish media plans one way or another to make him the center of the next election. Maybe as like the third party guy that just mouths off and they're going to try to make him the hero. They're going to do their absolute best to try to draw people into the neutral on Israel. Their last clown is Musk. The two witnesses are Trump and Musk. You know what I'm saying? Two witnesses of what, Joseph? It's in reverse of what the book of Revelation, you have to understand, is like people taking and twisting Lord of the Rings. Right? You cannot, if you look at it from the perspective of like, this is supernatural given by spirit or God or source or whatever, then you're never going to understand what I'm saying. You have to look at this as a very Dungeons and Dragons thing that means something specifically to the people that it means something to, not to the general public. Because you have people, well, Crawley's not really the beast, and it doesn't matter what you say that you figured out from Jewish mathematician mind. I'm looking at reality, and I see Thelema. I see Crowley. When I look at Trump, Hegseth, and Rubio, I see Crowley magic. I see the strategist Crowley behind them going, go out there. This is all a play. And the play is God is on America's side. So whatever you do, you can't lose. Just kill, kill, kill. in one day, and I don't know, Maria doesn't know. She said, all I know is I do, and that we can ask Lou, who's sitting right here. We can ask Lou what he knows. And Lou said the day has not been determined. They don't like to, they like to do it at the spur of the moment. So they have literally told, they have all their people. This is the whole point of what I'm saying. They have everything in place and ready to go for this. One Tuesday morning, like 9/11, you'll wake up and your internet's off, your electricity's off. And when you finally get your phone to pick up anything, the first thing you see is Russia or Iran. I'm not saying exactly who they're going to blame. It's like I said, things are done on the fly with these people, but this is the crux of the next wave is sophisticated hackers have hacked the very internet itself and brought the entire internet down and many cables, they're going to say, to other nations and shit. These fiber optic cables have been cut. And they're going to say, this is the mark. And when you see this, remember this. They're going to say, we are in a war of civilizations, that the Western way of life is at stake, that Muslims are taking over everything. Muslims with all the last names Steen and Berg and Witz own everything. Muslims? Really? I mean, and you know, people who know the truth are going to laugh in their face. This is going to be the Civil War. Do you want to know what's going to cause a civil war in America? If there even is. Look, I'm reporting to you. August 18th, Trump is threatening to use a nuclear weapon on Iranian underground missile, storage sites. And nobody in America is protesting. Nobody's trying to stop him. I mean, literally, we should be saying, arrest this guy. He's nuts. They don't have a weapon. The UN was inspecting the Ayatollah. They're doing this. This is what they call controlling the elements. This is what they call controlling the hurricane. What do I mean by that? The force of energy from the Ayatollah was, we are better than Pakistan morally, spiritually. We are one more than Pakistan, Russia, China. We don't need a nuclear weapon. Allah does not want us splitting atoms and destroying our ancestral religion. Is basically what he was saying. The roots of Persia is in the atom. Quit splitting the motherfucker and trying to kill people with it. And so what do they come out and do? What is their religion about? Mind control, inversion, force and fraud, human sacrifice. So they say, we're going to start a whole war because they're lying. Allah didn't tell them that. They really want a weapon and they're trying to make it. And it's for you to weigh on a scale and go, you know what? There ain't no way you're telling the truth, because these Muslims really do believe in Allah. Now you're lying. They wanted you to know that. They wanted you to know this war is really, truly based on a lie. The war truly is based on This guy says Allah doesn't want them to have a nuclear weapon. Do you hear me? Ayatollah Khomeini, whatever his name is. I know this for a fact. Everyone goddamn knows it for a fact. He said, I prayed to Allah. He said, no, I don't want anybody to have these weapons. And so Clownface comes out and goes, he's lying. We're going to kill him. Praise Allah. He actually said stuff like praise Allah. The Clownface Trump did. And said, nope, he's lying. They're just saying that while they make a weapon. Well, people all around the world have them. North Korea has them. Pakistan has them. Because their leaders didn't mind atomizing. Right? And then, second, in like 100 cities all over America, all over Europe, you're going to see drones hit electric plants, bridges, everything that they're doing to Iran, they're going to do to Iran. They're just right now, they're about to like do full infrastructure demolition of Iran. They're going to just explode everything. They're going to use all their old bombs. They're lying. All they do is lie and go, we're weak. We're running out of weapons. And then Trump goes, we got plenty. We're going to use all the old ones on poor people because we want to kill the poor. But they have Mossad is in special forces, intelligence, CIA is going to be behind this, not Muslims. They're going to bring Muslim patsies out, but the core of it is the armies of the Kabbalistic bankers. And what they're going to do is they're going to hit power plants, water stations, bridges with drones. And they're going to tell us we don't know how to defend this. We would need, anti-air. They're going to have troops everywhere. They're going to have troops fucking everywhere. It's going to be martial law in America. There will be lockdown, martial law in America. And they will be counting them. They'll be going another attack. This is 47 attacks. And in this day of terrorism, we're up to 50 attacks. We have just heard of another drone attack on a and look, they're even going to signal to you we're the same people who are doing this to Russia. We're the same people because they're going to go after Amazon warehouses as a little wink wink of like we're the same people because for some reason they're going after the Amazon equivalent in Russia with drones. And it's symbolic magic that we are at war with your everyday person that buys Amazon. And here in America, it's strictly the message is going to be, they're going to say it's Muslims that did, but behind the real mirror will be, we're this evil, you better be afraid. We're coming after everyone that doesn't like Israel, period. Every single person that's ever tried to help the Palestinians, we are coming after you. Be afraid. They're gonna be like every college kid that supported Palestine had the freedom in America, and this is what they did. They built drones to hit our water plants. Oh, by God, Jesus, they just attacked us. We would never do this. While we, not with drones, but with Tomahawk missiles and who knows, white phosphorus, chemical weapons and shit, right? They're trying. Let me tell you, the Church of the Subgenius is all about anger, revenge and retaliation. They're trying to provoke the other nations. We will keep killing your people till you kill ours. We want you to kill innocent civilians. The thing with a human sacrifice, it's just not the same in war. They want maximum fear and they want to create maximum anger. They want a war that ends the world. They want an excuse to say, hey, we're that person. We have the power. If we can't have it all, rule it all, we will kill everyone. We're that Hollywood archetype psycho, right? What you have is American psycho mixed with the subgenius church with all the power of real Kabbalistic elemental magic. If you wonder why everyone gravitates to this and they become known for it. You have Cat Williams will be out talking about you, like Jay-Z and uh, all these people. Why do they like Crowley so much? Why do they like Marina Abramovic so much, huh? The satanic Jew, because everyone should know by now in this worldview fantasy, God is Satan. God is Satan. This is the whole like know your shadow shit. You ever notice we don't teach any of that? Because listen, in nature, of course, everyone has a shadow. That doesn't mean your true personality has a shadow. And like Maria said, let's get right at it, all right? Just like the ego thing. So what most people are talking about their shadow, they're really talking about their sexual desires that they wouldn't normally share. Because it's like Maria said, it's some things are just to be between the people who are one with each other, right? And that very vibe is what confuses people, right? So the only true oneness is the eternal vibration that was held by the true self before you came here, right? That vibration can't die and it cannot experience as one person. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So technically, when in all truth, when the food, clothes, and shelter vibration energy is taken away from the matrix, and even on Venus, this is the kind of things we're talking about. Is really when I met you, it was like that guy I met with the half face, right? Or three parts of a face, or even four, or even five faces in one, like that goddess with all the different faces in Hindu, Mother Saraswati. Um, that's the real truth. Is when you met me, I didn't know it either, but you met those who I've always been one with. Right? And we go back to these, we're going back and forth from the hot and cold of war and love, war and love. Um, because behind the clown show, this is how it breaks down, right? I said the paradigm of Aryan Jew, because the paradigm of good and evil has been so distorted, right? But air, nature, the flow, and this religion of murder and sacrifice and blood magic, the religion of blood magic, the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus. The foundation is what defeats all the vibrations. Like when someone has these near-death experiences and they're like, I felt like I was one with everything, and this voice was telling me, like, and they're like, it may even say it's God because it knows exactly what you're thinking because it is you. That's what they say. But are you, I want you to ask this to yourself, are you something or someone else having a human experience? Or are you that thing having a human experience? What makes more sense to you? I'm just a projection of divinity. Sucks. People act like, oh, listen to this great news. I'm just a peon in this giant God, but I'm with all the other peons, but it doesn't mean anything. All right, meaningless. All is meaningless. A ground truth of reality that every single person must face, right? And this is why they create this of like, I'm just a shard of the pot of the great source, And you're like, so because you're one with how many? Millions of millions or billions, or you're going to lose your identity because you're not you. You are this thing projecting itself in every bit of my, I've been doing the ritual, every fiber of my being goes, no, 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 no. I am not someone else. I am not something else. Matter of fact, we're going to get into a series of what are we? Nos. Nos is a word for we. N-Oz. Nos. N-O-S. Where are we?
There's a whisper in the shadows, a heartbeat in the night, a call for all the dreamers to stand and make it right. We're living in a world that's crying out in pain, but together we can heal it like sunshine after rain. Just look inside your heart, let it show you where to start. So let's change the world, make it shine. The love so pure, so divine. One step at a time, hand in hand. We'll turn around, make a stand. There's a child in the mirror with stars in the eyes, dreaming of tomorrow, reaching for the skies. They don't see the lines, don't know black and white. They only see the colors, a world that's full of light. It's in the way we give, the way we care. So let's change the world, make shine. The love so pure, so divine. One step at a time, hand in hand, we'll turn